Did you know that the monster you see in the 2023 film The Boogeyman is not how the monster was actually supposed to be? Come along with us on a scary ride where we uncover some dark hidden secrets behind the blockbuster horror film of the year, The Boogeyman. Get ready to find out the true inspiration behind the movie and how this monster is different from the ones you probably read about as a child. Safe to say, you're in for a surprise. So get your seatbelts on and dive in with us to find out some horrid details about the movie which will give you a good scare. First up in our frightening journey, let's talk about the truth behind the monster in the film. Guess what? The monster had to be edited after the first test screening because it was simply too scary. Yup, you heard it right. The monster reveal with its spooky yellow eyes was so intense that the audience screams made them miss 45 seconds worth of dialogue. So this is definitely something we could never have imagined. The creators of Boogeyman did such an incredible job making that scary monster from our childhood. But this might make you wonder where the inspiration for such a scary character came from. Well, we have your answer. Remember that spine-chilling creature from the 2017 horror blockbuster The Ritual? The director Rob Savage sure does. In a juicy tidbit from the KingCast podcast, Savage spilled the beans about how that movie's beast haunted his imagination and left a mark on his psyche. So what did he do? He teamed up with the genius behind it, Keith Thompson, to make a monster that would give us all goosebumps, the legendary Boogeyman. And of course, there are long details behind making this monster. Here's what you need to know. Savage was convinced of making a creature that we have all imagined at least once as a child. Something that we know exists behind the hidden dark corners of our homes. Something that's evil, but also a definite part of the world. And since Savage was really particular about the details, he made sure that the creator Keith knew of his vision. So I bet just hearing the thought process behind the Boogeyman must be giving you chills. But now hold up a second there. This Boogeyman is not a completely new creation. In fact, you might be surprised to know that the true adaptation comes from no other than king of horror stories, Stephen King. King has given us countless sleepless nights with his unmoving tales, and one story that's always stood out is the Boogeyman. First sending shivers down our spines in a 1973 issue of Cavalier magazine, and later as a standout piece in King's Night Shift collection, this ghostly tale has haunted readers for decades, and now it has made a thrilling appearance on screen. Now here is a shocker. The movie was not originally meant to be released in theaters. That's right, it was meant to be streamed on Hulu. What a bummer. But luckily for us, the test screening was such a huge success that 20th Century Studios decided to give it a worldwide release in theaters. But guess what? Making an adaptation of King's stories is not an easy job, and it actually had the director Rob Savage concerned. The writer is known to be straightforward about his thoughts on the movies based on his stories. Remember his not-so-subtle thoughts on The Shining? So it's no surprise that while bringing the Boogeyman to life, Savage had some, let's call them, jitters. But guess what? Not only did King watch Savage's recreation of the story, but he absolutely loved it. Picture this, the master of horror himself saying how much the movie scared him, and also writing down a personal essay of appreciation for Rob. Talk about a stamp of approval. Rob, however, added his own twist to the legendary monster. His creation of Boogeyman in the 2023 movie is not exactly the same as King's. He wanted to make his creature different from something that was born only out of fear and one's own delusions. Instead, he created something even more particular, a monster born out of the pain of losing someone you love and accepting the truth that one has to deal with. When you think about it, such pain touches you deeply, almost on a psychological level, and that's exactly how Savage wanted his monster to be. Now here comes some more spooky details. Did you know that the 2023 movie is not the first time this story was created into a film? There was a time back in 1982 when a short film was made out of this story as a part of the King's Dollar Baby program. But even so, making a film out of this story has been a challenge. The writers had some serious terms and conditions when providing filmmaking rights, like where the movie had to be only 45 minutes long. Luckily for Rob, he managed to create a complete movie out of the story, and that's a true achievement. But the struggles of making the film did not end there. The movie was announced 5 years before its release in 2023, and you may wonder what caused this huge delay. Well, unfortunately, the project was canceled back in 2019 when Disney acquired Fox. Whoops. But then there was a twist of fate, and the project was back on again in 2021 with Savage as the lead director for the movie. Remember that heart-stopping scene when Sawyer, portrayed by the remarkable Vivian Lyra Blair, was so overwhelmed with fear during the light show therapy that she wets her pants? Now, for those who might think it was just a random intense scene thrown into the mix, think again. That moment is an accurate reference to Stephen King's original story. It's not just about the scare factor, it's about staying true to the essence and the little details from King's narrative. And it's details like these that make this film authentic to the original tale of the Boogeyman. On that note, while we're talking about references to King's stories, there's much more that awaits you. Did you notice Lester Billings' address in the film? Billings lives at 217 Oak Drive. And guess why this is so special? Because it's a clear reference to Room 217 from the author's other horror masterpiece, The Shining. And if this doesn't show how Stephen King is particular about his numbers, wait till you hear this. You're a true King fan if you know the story about the number 19. It's a number that appears quite often in King's universe and has some mysterious importance to him. Almost like it's his dark kind of lucky number. And guess what? The Harper family in the movie lives at number 19. But the hidden references do not end here. There's a scene in the movie where Sadie, played by the talented Sophia Thatcher, is watching a video on how to contact the dead. Classic for any horror film. But the actual spooky part here is that this scene is a clear reference to Rob Savage's previous horror film Host, released in 2020. Now let's hear from the amazing cast of the movie. Did you know that this was the first time Chris Messina, who plays Dr. Will Harper, was the oldest actor on set? He said so himself in an interview that it felt nice for him to lay back and see the other three young stars take hold of the film. And what motivated the actor to do this movie? Well, he had a simple reason for being pulled to the script: Stephen King's unique touch. According to Messina, King doesn't just tell scary stories. He digs deep, hitting our feelings and fears right in the heart. It's more than just jumps and shocks. It's about really getting into our heads. That's what Messina loved, how King's stories make us think and feel beyond the fright. And the actor's presence has been greatly valued. The producer Sean Levy expressed in an interview how Chris provided an anchor of stability for the movie.
We needed an anchor of stability in the role of the father, and getting Chris Messina gave us that anchor.
And of course, his pro acting and honest personality have won hearts through this movie. Now here comes another interesting fact from one of the cast members. Did you know that the character of Sawyer is Blair's favorite role she's ever played? That's true, but what's the reason behind such strong praise by the actress? The entire tribute goes to how wonderfully the character is written. Blair mentioned that Sawyer is a complicated character whom she fell in love with. And what she loves even more is how she is a scared little girl terrified by a cat who comes out stronger and with courage by the end. And you know, we all love good character development. Here's another tidbit. We're sure the little yellow ball which the youngest daughter carries around in the film must have caught your eye. The filmmakers ordered it from Amazon. They originally planned for a toy lightsaber to act up in the scene, but oops, given the actress played Princess Leia on Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Disney wasn't thrilled about Leia with a glitchy lightsaber. So what did they do? A quick online hunt for glowing kids' toys led them to Amazon. With some fast rewrites, that last-minute toy switch turned into the highlight of the movie. This just shows that sometimes the unplanned moments are the best ones. Now let's talk numbers. The film had a budget of just $17 million, but it rounded up a sum of $325 million worldwide. Now that's huge. Could you have imagined that the movie earned $4.8 million on its first day? These numbers just show what a success the movie has been internationally. In overall rankings from films released that week, it finishes third behind hit films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and The Little Mermaid. The response to this horror film has been so wicked that it has a 61% rating on the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes. As we come to the end of our frightening journey, it is clear that the movie's success has a lot of teamwork and great ideas behind it, especially Rob Savage's dream to make a definite version of Boogeyman which leaves a psychological impact on us. If you like today's behind-the-scenes video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to hear more stories from behind the camera. See you all next time.